Hey guys, Mr. MQ here with a update to the Neos deck profile because I finally have it max red. Finally, yeah. Also the field center. So yeah, let's just get straight into the deck profile then. First off, we have two Elemental Hero Neos. I mean, I might as well just tell you what all the rarities are. These are the secret rares from Collection Tin number 3. Obviously, it being a Neos deck, it's gonna run Neos. Yeah, I finally got the last card today. For the rarity bumps, I did drop a few things and obviously added new things. But yeah, 2 Neos is good. You could run it at 3, but you can brick with Neos very easily. Oh yeah, by the way, I've got some new card sleeves for him. Jaden obviously makes sense. Jaden, Neos, Heroes. Next up is 2 of the new cards. 2 Elemental Heroes, Spirit of Neos. It's a super rare from the latest set. Really good card. I was dreading this Power of the Elements because I was expecting to see not a DP but a Neos card to be a Starlight. I was actually expecting, before we got the announcement of DP, I was expecting Spirit of Neos to have one Neos to be the Legacy Starlight. I still think Neos should have had a Ghost Rare from Ghost from the Past 2. But anyway, onto the deck profile. Onto the card. When your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. And if you do, it can't be destroyed by battle. Pretty nice, actually. If this card is special summoned, you can add from your deck to your hand 1 polymerization or 1 spell or trap that mentions Elemental Hero monsters in the card name. During your main phase, you can shuffle this card into the deck, and if you do, special summon 1 Elemental Hero normal monster from your deck. You can only activate each effect of Spirit of Neos once per turn. Like, originally I was playing Spirit 1, but I figured playing 2 Neos, playing 2 Spirit of Neos would actually make more sense. I don't know, I just kind of like Spirit of Neos. Next up is 2 Neospatial Grand Moles, which if it's evolved in an attack, well, if this card attacks or is attacked by an opponent's monster, you can return both to owner's hands at the start of the damage step without damage calc. So you summon this, say there's a big monster you can't get over, but it can be sent back. So you summon Grand Mole, attack with Grand Mole, effect to this activates as soon as it declares it, really, and you go effect to this, target this, and it doesn't target, it just sends them back. And yes, I have double sleeved this because this deck is very expensive. Next up is 1 Dark Panther. Yes, I only run 1 of each of the other Neospatians. And this is also an ultimate rare, as is the Grand Moles, which Grand Mole was in Strike of Neos, and this was from Power of the Duelist, I think. Very old set. Once per turn, you can select 1 face-up monster your opponent on your opponent's side of the field. While this card is face-up on your side of the field until the end of this turn, this card's name is treated as the selected monster's name. It gets the selected monster effects. It's good. I like that Panther, but it's a shame its attack is only 1,000. It is the strongest Neospatial, I believe. I think it's stronger than Twinkle Moss. Twinkle Moss and Marine Dolphin. Next up, we have a very, very pretty Neospatial Hummingbird. It's from the same set as Grand Mole. Once per turn, during your main phase, you can gain 500 life points for each card in your opponent's hand. It's not bad for life point gain. I was playing all the Neospatials at 2, and then I dropped them all to 1 when I heard the new support was coming out. So, next up is Neospatial Scarab, another beautiful ultimate rare. It's from the same set as Dark Panther. It gains 400 attack for each spawn track had your opponent's side of the field. It's not bad. It's just like the ones that are at 1 are in there just in case I can go into the singular forms. Next up is an Aquadorphin, which came from the same set as Scarab and the Panther. Probably the best effect Neospatial because it was used in, I believe, Goki's 2017 because it was such a good card back then. Still a pretty good card now, I should imagine. Once per turn, by discarding 1 card from your hand, look at your opponent's hand. That's like 1 monster card in it. If there is a monster on your side of the field with attack greater or equal to a selected monster, destroy the selected monster and inflict 500 points of damage to your opponent. If there is no monsters on your side of the field when with an attack greater or equal to, you take 500. Which isn't bad. And here is the only Neospatial not to have an ultimate rare, and I'm upset. Like, in the next OTS, I would love, like, I know there's always like at least 1 throwaway ulti in every OTS pack, and I'm hoping this gets one. And then I'll have all the Neospatials in ultimate rare, and I can presume it'll be one of the cheapest ultis currently on the market. Because nobody plays it other than like a select few people, me being one of them. This is from the Shining Victories. It's something of some. It's SHVA. I can't remember the code name. I can't remember the code for that, but its effect. I love it. It's hilarious. If this card attacks or is attacked, your opponent draws 1 card and shows it. Then, based on the type on its type, apply this effect. Monsters end the battle phase of its turn spell. If this card is attacking, you can change it to a direct attack instead. 300 is not great, but it's not bad either. Trap changes to defense position. Personally, you want them to draw monsters, and then you can go, yay! And now on to the non-Neospatial monsters. We have a Ghost Rare, which is actually misprinted. Like, if you look at the very bottom of the picture, you can see just a white line. Like, it's so good. And it's from Tactical Evolution. Obviously, Rainbow Dragons is played as a 1-0 because of Rainbow Neos. Here comes a very long effect. This card cannot be normal summoned nor set. This card cannot be special summoned except from your hand. While you control 7 Crystal Beast monsters with different names on the field or in your graveyard. This card cannot activate its effects the turn it is special summoned. Effect 1. Send all Crystal Beast monsters you control to the graveyard. This card gains 1,000 for each card sent. You can activate this effect. You can activate this effect during evil player's turn, so it's actually not bad. You can banish all Crystal Beast monsters in your graveyard to return all cards on the field to their owner's decks, which actually isn't bad, but since this is Neos, you're not running any Crystal Beasts. You wouldn't really anyway. Next up is one of my favourite monsters, Yubel. Again, only in here because it has a fusion with Neos. You're never going to summon it, ever. Never ever are you going to summon this card. Unless you're at that situation where you can summon it and you're like, I mean, everyone's going to read the effect and go, yeah, I'm not attacking this. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. You take no damage from battles involving this card. Before damage calc, when this face-up attack position card is attacked by an opponent's monster, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's attack. So basically, it's Amazoness Swordswoman, so they take the damage instead of you, which is kind of funny. During the end phase, tribute 1 other monster or destroy this card. When this card is destroyed, except by its own effect, its owner can special summon 1 Yubel Terra Incarnate from hand, deck, or grave. I used to have this Yubel deck where I'd somehow be able to get 2 out in one turn, and the Yubel would pop the other Yubel, and obviously the effect of that Yubel would go off and pop that one, so that one will leave the field, and then Terra Incarnate would come out, because it's technically not by its own effect, it's by another Yubel's effect. And obviously the end phase, that Terra Incarnate would blow up that Yubel. and then another Terra Incarnate would come out and then blow up that Terra Incarnate, and then that Terra Incarnate would summon the Ultimate Nightmare, and then you just be sat there like, laugh my ass off. Next up, I play one Neos Wiseman. Oh yeah, the set for Yubel, the Secret Rarities Legendary Collection GX. For Neos Wiseman, it's Crossroads of Chaos. It was a really weird thing. They should have had this as the fusion to begin with, but they didn't. This card cannot be normal summoned nor set. This card can be normal summoned, and then it can't be special summoned except by sending one Neos, Elemental Hero Neos, original Neos, and Yubel, and one face up Yubel you control to the grave. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. By card effects. If this card battles an opponent's monster at the end of the damage step, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack of the monster it battled, this, and gain life points equal to its defense. So basically, it burns and then it heals. It burns your opponent and heals you. Really good card. Like, now it's actually playable, because it was next to impossible to summon it before Neos Kaluga came out. Next up, we have Elemental Hero Prisma, which is from DPCT, which I cannot remember for the life of me what set that is. Once per turn, you can reveal one fusion monster from your fusion deck. I miss it when it was just a fusion deck, and send one of the fusion material monsters listed on that card from your deck to the grave. Until the end phase of this turn, this card's name is treated as the sent monster. So you play this, and like, say for example you go Air Hummingbird, it will be counted as Air Hummingbird, so you could just contact fuse. Next up is one of the best cards. Oh yeah, and the Wiseman was secret, the Yubel is secret, and the Prisma is ultra. These are super from the Soul Fusion Special Edition, I believe. Yeah, I think. Yeah. One of the best cards in the deck. When this card is normal or special summoned. No, when it's normal summoned, you can special summon one Neospatial or monster or one Elemental Hero Neos from your deck or hand in defensive position. You can tribute this card. Then target Neospatial or Elemental Hero Neos in your grave, special summon it in defense. You can only use each effect of Neospace Connector once per turn. So it's just good. I love it. I actually love Connector. And then for another one of the new cards is Crossport. Unfortunately, it was not an Ultra. Like, I wanted to at least have all the cards in the deck, hollow. Like this has only ever had one print in Gladiator's Assault. It needs an ultra. I would take it in Battles of Legend. It can be like a 10p ultra, but this card is surprisingly difficult to find. Like, I struggled to find it anywhere in the UK, so I had to get it imported from the US. But it's not bad, right? So anyway, on to Crosskeeper. You can send this card from your hand or field to the grave, special summon one Elemental Hero or one Neospatial monster from your hand or grave, but negate its effects if summoned from the grave. If you special summon Elemental Hero Fusion monster, well, this card is in the grave except during the damage step, you can banish this card and draw two. This is why this card's so good. Then place one card from your hand on the bottom of the deck. You can always Crosskeeper's effect once per turn. So it's good. It's a drawer. It's kind of like a pot of greed, but not a pot of greed. And that's it for the monsters. Now onto the spell cards. These are from the Megatins, and I love Neos Fusion as a secret rare. And so basically, with this card, you can special summon one fusion monster from your extra deck that lists exactly two monsters as material, including Elemental Hero Neo, so you can use this to get out Rainbow Neos, Neos Kaluga, any of the single Neos fusion monsters. Oh, it's so good. As material, including Elemental Hero Neos, by sending those monsters from your hand, deck, or field, ignoring summoning conditions. For the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon a monster. You cannot special summon monsters if a fusion monster or monsters you control that lists Neos as a material will be destroyed by battle or card effect. You can are shoveled into the extra deck by its own effect. You can banish this card from your grave instead. So it's protection. It's the best fusion card in the game. But people are like, oh no, I'd say that's Super Poly or that branded stuff. I'm like, nah mate, Neos Fusion's where it's at. We have 3 Miracle Contact. Yes, they are secret rares, and they're all from REDU. I think that was like a Zexal set. Shuffle into the deck from hand, field, or grave. So you could Miracle Contact and then go into Neos Fusion. I've done it loads of times. It's so much fun. Hand or grave, the fusion material monsters that are listed on a elemental hero fusion monster that lists elemental hero Neos as fusion material, then special summon that fusion monster from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. So you like with me, I could go Storm, Nebula, or Magma. I like Magma more though, because Magma is just a beefy boy. Next up is 1 Instant Contact. I am thinking of bumping this up to 2, because I'm thinking of dropping one of the other spell cards in the deck. This is a new one from Power of the Elements. It is absolutely beautiful. I love it. Pay 1,000. Special summon 1 level 7 or lower elemental hero or Neospatial monster from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. While elemental hero Neos is neither on your field nor in your grave. I love the wording for this. The special summon monster cannot attack. Its effects negate. Also return it to the extra deck during the end phase. You can only activate 1 instant contact per turn. And if you've noticed, at the very back of the card, like there, just behind Glowneos' arm and behind Flare Neos, you can actually see the wings of Air Neos. Rip our boy Air Neos. Like, Konami, can you at least let us know what's going on with him? Like, are you gonna do a retrain of the guy? Call it Celestial, Sky, you know, anything to do with a wind that isn't Storm or Air. Next up is Contact Out. Oh, the only common, like, I wish this was at least a super rare. Return 1 Neos Fusion monster you control to the Fusion deck in slash extra deck, because we're talking like late 2000s here. So it was called a Fusion deck until 2008 when 5Ds dropped. If all the fusion material monsters that are listed on the fusion monster in your deck, you can special summon them. So you basically can use that for like an FTK, OTK, or just to finish your opponent off. Next up is 2 Convert Contact. Ultra rare from Battles of Legend Relentless Revenge or something. I think it was the first Battles of Legend, because we've had like 4 since. If you control no monsters, send 2 Neospatial monsters, 1 from hand and 1 from deck to the grave, and draw 2. So it's another draw engine for it. Next up is another new one. EN Engage Neospace. I think this is going to be the longest deck profile I've done, because I've not even touched the extra deck yet. Send 1 Neospatial monster and 1 elemental hero monster from your hand. Send 1 from hand, 1 from deck to the grave. Special summon 1 Neospatial or 1 level 5 or higher elemental hero monster from your deck. And if you do, add a poly from your deck to your deck or graveyard to your hand. Pretty cool. If you special summon elemental hero Neos by this effect, it gains 1,000 attack. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except fusion monsters. Well, spoiler: everything in the extra deck is fusion. Except fusion monsters, the turn you activate this card, you can only activate Engage Neospace once per turn, and it's a super from the late set Power of the Elements. Next up, we have a beautiful. I was about to say Ghost Rider. It won't look as good as the ulti. Neospace from Power of the Doors. It had God. There's so many Neos related cards in that set that have ultimate rares. Elemental Hero Neos and all fusion monsters that list Neos as a fusion material monster against 500 attack. Nice. Fusion monsters that list Elemental Hero Neos as a fusion material monster do not have their effects activated to return them to the fusion deck during the end phase, which, in all fairness, this is the weirdest. Like, when this archetype first came out, I was like hella confused. I was like, why is it going back to deck? Because I was watching the anime, like, when it first dropped in dub, because in my opinion GX dub is better than the sub. But there are some subs better than the dub. Like, Vrains, for example. Vrains, they called Revolver Varys or something, and I was like, yeah, no, Revolver sounds way cooler. Right, next up is Polly. It's a secret one from Legendary Collection Kyber. Fusion summons a fusion monster using materials from hand or field. There you go. That's literally what Polly does. It's the most generic spell card ever made. Now here's one that people like, what? Fusion deployment, which came out in last year's Megaton. Reveal one fusion monster in your extra deck and special summon from your hand or deck one of the fusion materials whose name is specifically listed on that card. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except fusion monsters. Solo play. The turn you activate this card, you can only activate one fusion deployment per turn. I was playing this at 3 and then I was like, whoa, this is far too much. Next up, Regeki destroys all monsters on field, and it's from OTS 2. OTS 2? No, Astral Pack 2, whatever. Monster Reborn, which was from the tin, so it's a parallel secret rare, very pretty. Targets a monster in either grave, special summon it. And now we're on to the traps. Favorite contact. I love the artwork. The artwork is so cool because it's 2 of my favorite hero monsters of all time. I would have preferred Flame Wingman, but I like Shining Flare just as much. And it's from Power of the Elements, obviously, and it's an ultra rare. Special summon one fusion monster that from your extra deck that mentions a hero monster. As material, ignore its summoning conditions by placing the fusion materials mentioned on it on the bottom of the deck in any order from among cards from your hand, field, grave, and or your banish zone. So it's like, yeah, it can be from anywhere. If you placed an elemental hero Neos into the deck, neither player can return the monster special summoned by this effect to the extra deck. You can only activate one favorite contact person. Damn. Never realised how good it was until I actually read it. See, as Yu-Gi-Oh players, we don't read cards. Next up, the last for the main deck is 2 Next. From Savage Strike, when they got the good support. You know, like Neos Fusion, Connector. Did we actually? Oh yeah, we got Brave Neos and Cosmo, which do deserve higher rares in my opinion. Special summon any number of monsters with different names from your hand and or grave in defense position. You can actually activate this at the very start of the duel. Like as soon as someone draws you, you can go next. Like you can literally just drop it straight away. That are all Neospatial monsters or elemental hero Neos, but negate their effects, and as long as you control any of those special summon monsters face up, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except fusion monsters. Because it'd be broken if you could do links. You can only activate next once per turn. If you control no cards, you can activate this card from your hand. So that's the reason why you can play it as soon as the duel starts. Like the very first thing you can do. Wow, 23 minutes and we only just finished the main deck. Now on to the extra deck. We have I play one Neos Kluger. Strong Ghost from the Past 2. I was waiting so long for this card, and I was so happy when they announced it. Like, I nearly did a backflip. Probably would have broken my neck if I did. It requires, obviously, Ubel and Neos. Must be fusion summoned before damage calculation. If this card battles an opponent's monster, you can inflict the damage to your opponent equal to that monster's attack. It gets better. If this card is destroyed by battle or leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect while its owner controls it, you can special summon a Neos Wiseman from your hand or deck, ignoring summoning conditions. You can only use this effect of Kluger once per turn. It's so good. I wish this was a Ghost Rare, but then I would have cried because that set was horrible to me for Ghost Rares. I bought like 3 displays and like maybe a couple of boxes after that and pulled no Ghost Rares. I pulled nothing higher than... I don't even think I pulled Hulk actually. Next up is one of the new cards from Power of the Duel Elements. Elemental Hero Shining Neos Wingman. This was another card I was like, this could be a potential Starlight. Requires Neos and 1 Wingman fusion, so you can either go Flame Wingman or Shining Flare, but I chose Flame Wingman because it's way cooler. Must be fusion summoned. It gains 300 attack for each monster in your grave, which is nice already because you can end up with like 4 just chilling. Also can't be destroyed by card effects. Ooh. If this card is special summoned, you can destroy monster. You can destroy a card your opponent controls up to the number of different attributes among the monsters on the field. So that could be as low as 1, as high as 6. You can only use this effect of Shining Neos Wingman once per turn. Once per turn, if this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack. So it's good. And look at the attack is so random at 3100. Ain't complaining though. Next up we have Rainbow Neos from Phantom Darkness. Very beautiful ghost rare. Obviously it requires Elemental Hero Neos, Rainbow Dragon or Rainbow Dark Dragon, but nobody ever plays Rainbow Dark Dragon because Rainbow Dragon is just, in my opinion, better. I like it more. This card cannot be normal special summoned except fusion summon with the above fusion material monsters. Once per turn you can... I thought that said initiate for some reason. You can activate one of the following effects. Send one monster you control to the grave. Return all monsters your opponent controls to the deck. Send one spell and trap you control to the grave to return all spell and traps your opponent controls to the deck. Send one card from the top of your deck to the grave to return all cards in your opponent's grave into deck. So Rainbow Neos is one of them where it can make or break the game. Well, the duel. Because, like, you could go, this deck requires a graveyard. It seems stupid to send them back, but if you, like, rely on things to special summon from grave, you can go, I don't really want you to do that. Okay, so next is Cosmonauts, which came in Savage Strike. This should have been a secret immediately, because look at the damn artwork of that beauty. It's probably one of the most beautiful artworks for a Neos card I've ever seen. It requires Elemental Hero Neos plus 3 Neospatial monsters with 3 different attributes. Must first be special summoned from your extra deck by shuffling the above cards you control into the deck. You do not use poly. Oh yeah, I forgot. The older, like, Neos fusions all state you don't need to use poly because you can just contact fuse them. If this card is special summoned from the extra deck, you can activate this effect. For the rest of this turn, your opponent cannot activate card effects. Cannot activate cards. Also, cards your opponent controls cannot activate their effects. So this card, it can settle for an FTK pretty quickly. Yeah, in response to the activation, once per turn during the end phase, shuffle this card into the deck, and if you do, destroy all cards your opponent controls. It's good. I like it because it's got a combination of Storm Neos, Magmanias, and Chaos Neos, which I kind of like. And next up we have Magmanias, which is from Tactical Evolution, because I remember hunting this card down for a long time when I was younger, because it was my favourite card in the anime at that point. It requires Neospatial Scarab and Grand Mole. This card can only be special summoned from the fusion deck by returning the above monsters. They basically, I'll just say above monsters. And don't need poly. This card gains 400 for each card on the field, which includes itself. This card returns to the fusion deck during the end phase. When this card is returned to the fusion deck by this effect, return all cards on the field to their opponent's hand. So it's basically like a redo, so to speak. Storm Neos, which is from Phantom Darkness, should have got higher than the super, because I kind of wish all Neos monsters had like ultra rares and everything. It requires Neos, a Hummingbird, and Aquadorphin. I am not running Chaos Neos because Chaos Neos is just kind of trash. Yeah, it can always special summon from fusion deck by returning both cards to the deck. Also, don't use poly. Once per turn, you can destroy all spell and trap cards on the field. This card returns to the fusion deck during the end phase. When this card is returned, return all cards on the field to the deck. It's so fun. Next up, we have 2 Nebula Neos, which is from the tin, the Jaden tin from like 2015, 2016, I don't know. It requires Neos, Grand Mole, and Dark Panther. Must be special summoned from extra deck by shuffling the above cards you control into the deck. Don't use poly. If this card is special summoned from the extra deck, draw cards equal to the number of cards your opponent controls, which is nice. Then negate the effects of one face-up card on the field until the end of this turn, which is good. Once per turn during the end phase, shuffle this card into the extra deck. If you do, banish all cards on the field face down. Like, this card is fucking mad. Probably the best triple fuse Neos card. I can maybe do all these together because it is gone half an hour. So I play one Grand Neos, one Flare Neos, one Aqua Neos, one Dark Neos, and one Glow Neos. Everyone's like, where's your Air Neos? I'm not spending. I could have had a ulti Air Neos, but I was just like, yeah, no, because I ordered one. Car market arrived in German. I was like, yeah, no. So this one's from Striker Neos. These three, I believe, are from Power of the Duelist, and then this one is from the same set as that. So, yeah. Well, I'll just read off individual effects. This one returns one monster your opponent controls to the hand. This gains 400 attack. 400 attack for each spawn trap on the field. This one, you discard a card from your hand, select one random card your opponent's hand and destroy it. This one can negate effects. You select one face-up effect monster on the field. If one is not already selected by this card, when this card is face-up on your side of the field, the selected monster's effect is negated until it is removed from the field. So it's a permanent negate. This one is basically the same as Glemos. During your main phase, you can destroy one card on the field your opponent controls based on the card type. Apply this. Monster, it can't battle this turn, spell it, attacks direct, trap. This card is changed to defense. Like, it's not bad, and obviously Aeneas is the one that gains attack points based on how much more your opponent has life point wise. Next up is one Brave Neos, which it came from Savage Strike. It's a good card. It requires a Neos plus requires an elemental hero Neos plus a level 4 or lower effect monster, must be fusion summoned. Gains 100 attack for each Neospatial and hero monster in your grave. So this guy can get pretty big. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can add one spell or trap monster from your spell and trap card from your deck to your hand that specifies elemental hero Neos in its text. So fusion. And for the last card was the one I got today, which is Elemental Hero Flame Wingman. You know, Jaden's OG boss monster, like ace monster. Like, I still, like, if I actually think of Jaden, I actually don't think of Neos first. I think of Flame Wingman, because Flame Wingman is cool as shit. Shame it's kind of bad. Hey, Konami, you know you retrained Phoenix Enforcer? Retrain Elemental Hero Neos and call it like Elemental Hero like Creator Flame Wingman. You know, just to be a polar opposite of DPE, because I'm kind of getting irritated about like Destiny Heroes getting so much meta support. Like, can we at least get a Flame Wingman or an Aeneas retrain, please? Like, I'd dig it either way. And yeah, it's an ultimate rare from, I think it was the first GX set, which was the Lost Millennium. Wow, that's a long time ago. And I've only just picked up the ulti now. Well, I'm never going to be able to summon this out normally. It requires Avon and Bastinatrix. Oh, OG fusions! This monster cannot be special summoned except by fusion summon. When this card destroys an opponent's monster and sends it to the graveyard as a result of battle, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the opponent's life points equal to the monster's destroyed attack. The attack of the destroyed monster. So basically, if you're swinging with this a attack position monster and it is destroyed, they're basically taking 2100. If it's in defense, they'll just take whatever attack point damage. Attack, yeah, like say if it's, I don't know, Clayman or something, say if it's swings into Clayman, they're taking 800. But yeah, that's been the deck profile. Definitely the I definitely have to say the longest deck profile I've done, even longer than the Pendulum one, longer than my Necros one, and this, by the way, is nowhere near competitive. Like, I built this for fun, because, like, I was discussing with a friend, like, the other day, that this deck will never get hit on the ban list, regardless of whatever comes out for Neos. Like, I just feel that it will never get hit, because the deck's not quote-unquote good enough, which I don't mind, because it's a fun deck. I can just whack out and play friendly with friends, because this deck is surprisingly fun. I've actually won games with this. Yeah, big surprise, I've actually won games with it. But yeah, like, is it worth the money for max rarity? I would say no, but they look hella pretty. But, like, yeah, like I said, if we are ever going to get a retrain for a hero monster, I want it to be Flame Wingman. Flame Wingman at least deserves something. Like, I know Shining Neos Wingman is technically a Shining Flare Wingman, but I use Flame Wingman more because it's easier. Because you can get it out with instant contact. Obviously, with instant contact, it's level 7 or lower, but so you can't get Shining Flare out, which would be pretty funny. Because you just have a 2500 beat stick that gains 300 attack for each elemental hero in your grave. So it's like, wow, that powers up big. But yeah, that was the deck profile. I do apologise for being so long, but do you know what? I've been waiting for this since Savage Strike, really, to actually get this out properly, and to get it done properly. And then when they announced the support for Power of the Elements, I was absolutely hyped for this. When they announced it, I think it was 4 months ago, I was like, oh my god, this needs to hurry the hell up, because I want these now. But yeah, I mean, do you know what, I need to get all 3 in frame. I think that's kind of cool, because like, I even got the Field Center, because like, the Field Center is really cool. And it goes along really nice with the map. Right, anyway, the next deck profile, if any of my friends don't go, oh, do you want to do a deck profile on mine? Like, that stuff will be meta, because they play meta, I don't. Well, I don't know, can you class the hero deck profile I did it as meta? I don't think you can, really, but I'd say it's more road than anything. But like, the next one is Crystal Bees for the structure deck next month. I may ask my friend if I can do a video on his hero collection. He has not got them all yet, I don't believe. Like, he's collecting all of them, basically anything to do with heroes. It can be Hero Kid. He still needs DPE. But with, like, DPE is not actually that expensive anymore. I think it's down to, like, 40 now. So it's becoming more accessible. And then, obviously, with the Megatons, Dragoon's coming out. But does anybody actually play Dragoon over DPE? Let's be honest, DPE is way cooler. Just because it's a hero. And, like Konami, we don't need any more Brick Eyes, Dank Magician, or anything Duel Monsters related support, unless it's stuff like Celtic Guardian, where you're going to actually give it proper support, stuff that actually needs support from that era. Like, Ra was cool when it got to the support. Destiny Ball stuff was cool. Like, I know Shizu is meant to be getting some support. I don't know if we're getting Duelist Pack 10, because I think it's got Leo on it with the new Power Tool Dragon. But I think we just recently got that Power Tool Dragon in Power of the Elements. Because I don't think they'd reprint an old Ghost Rare as a new Ghost Rare, because Power Tool Dragon already has a Ghost Rare, and I don't think they'd be, like, I don't think they'd be too happy about it. But yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. Like, I don't know what's coming next. Like, I don't know. For sets anyway, but I don't know, do I keep it going until 40 minutes? Just be like, yeah, just retrain Neos. I cannot remember for the life of me what I thought of. No, I actually can't remember what I called it. But yeah, if you're gonna retrain Flame Wingman, call it Elemental Hero, create a Flame Wingman, because it'll be the polar opposite of Destroy Phoenix Enforcer, because, you know, Destroy is, you know, a destroyer, and Flame Wingman is a creator. It just makes perfect sense to me. But anyway, I hope you like the video. Sub, bell, whatever, or do all that stuff, and I might slap some Master Duel up at some point, or I might actually start playing through that Spider-Man thing. Playing through the Spider-Man game. But anyway, like, sub, and I will catch you in the next video.